Okay, I'm ready.
It's Lauren with 101 WKQX. I am so honored right now to be joined by Joshua Homme and Troy Van Leeuwen from Queens of the Stone Age. Gentlemen.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Hi.
And
We're going to just share stuff.
Yeah, if they both could come my way, that would be really hot. Yeah.
all eyes on the star.
Adult film. Like bang.
Do you have to deal with this like every day?
I mean, deal with it is not really the word I would use. I encourage it, actually. So, yeah, it's my fault.
Yes.
Where exactly are we? We're backstage. This is your compound?
This is that bunker we've been talking about for years.
When it all goes
Talk
south?
about it anymore. Yeah, it is when the bomb comes to hits. No, this is one of our areas, I guess we'd call it.
Yeah. Our place of worship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Backstage at the Riot Fest. I should mention that too, right?
Yes, at Riot Fest here. Thank you for Villains, another incredible album. And I know that you went into it wanting to make a dancey album. And I'm curious, what was the initial spark for that want?
I mean, if I could be really honest, we've always had a groove and the ability to dance to our stuff. I just figured if I said dance enough times in the press release, everyone else would too.
It worked.
Bingo.
So what's your advice for people who want to dance but aren't exactly sure what to do to this album?
Well, I mean, I remember going to junior high dance with a bunch of boys, and all the girls were dancing in the middle of the gymnasium, and I said, let's just go do it, man. Like, we're here, we're all dressed up, and no one would do it. And I said, I know you're scared. I'm scared too. Let's just do it. And so I danced my way out there, and the girls kind of laughed, but then they were like, come out here. And so I went out there, and I turned around and said, come on, let's get, because I guess the point is you only live once. And if everything you do is if the directions you take are based on what you're afraid of, then where are you headed, And so dancing is good practice for just doing what you want to do and being who you are. In fact, it's much like headbanging or wearing really short jean shorts. You're saying to everyone else, my name's Paul, go fuck y'all. Because I'd like to do what I like to I like to chase the things I love. And I think Riot Fest, like the build today, was really wonderful. Peaches and GBH and Mike Patton with Dave Lombardo and Go-Go Bordello is playing right now, and Wu-Tang Clan.
And Queens of the Stone Age.
If you can't find something to dance to, you're probably not here.
Yeah, probably not alive.
Yeah.
So were you this cool in middle school?
I wasn't there,
No
so
Okay, okay. How cool were you in middle school?
no, I was not cool.
He
No.
dressed just like this. Yeah. But
But by myself on the edge of the lunch table with no one around me. Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, I was a loner.
But look
A
at him
rebel.
now.
See what happens
you
to
gotta
loners?
ask yourself, what is cool? Cool is something that you're not, when you're cool. Cool is not something you're better than. It's something you're really into. It's something that you like despite everything else, and that makes you feel good. And you really don't have to try to do that at all. I don't think I'm not cool, but there's so much cool stuff to do. And if you like the stuff you like, that's really cool. And if you don't agree with that, then my thought is like, shut up, Hitler.
Go back to your bunker.
Speaking of Hitler, what do you think makes a good villain?
Well, perception is truth, right? Which is a shame sometimes because it has nothing to do with what really happened. But sometimes I think people, it feels good to follow the rules because I'm being good. Am I good? And this is why gold stars were created and things like that, right? But gold stars are just stamped pieces of shit. So really, the thing is, like, rules they're okay, but it shouldn't get in the way of chasing your passion and sticking up for the people you care about and pursuing the things you love. And the grass is, it's a don't walk on the grass. It's like, well, the grass feels amazing. Maybe you shouldn't walk on the grass, but we should have a picnic on the goddamn grass,
Yeah. Roll around.
Picnic time.
What do you think makes a good villain?
Well, that's a great question. I think a good villain is somebody that it's not always the person that is perceived. to me, a great villain is someone like Elvis Presley or Chuck Berry or
Little Richard
or Jerry Lee Lewis. Those guys were making music that got the kids moving, the white kids moving, everyone moving.
Can you imagine being gay and black and playing rock and roll and it hasn't started yet? And
I mean, Little
literally
Richard
cannot.
is like the
and
king
you're
of
singing
villains.
a song called Tutti Frutti.
I mean, that is a reoccurring stress dream that I have, but
That's so badass. It should be a beautiful dream to have. I mean,
But can you imagine the parents of those kids that are going there and freaking out about this?
who's
incredible
this
music?
tiny Richard?
Yes.
It's like,
this little man.
yeah, it's the guy that controls Big Richard. Yeah, but I admire Little Richard for that strength of willingness to ignore naysayers, because naysayers say nay because that's all they can say. They say nay, and I'm not worried about. I don't think anyone should worry about that. That's uncool.
I'm curious if you had to have a signature scent, the two of you, what kind of notes would it carry? If you had a Troy cologne, a Joshua cologne,
That's a good question. I think tequila should be part of it.
definitely.
That was a joke. I don't want to go through the
tequila is a part
airport
of it.
smelling like tequila.
Again.
Again. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I like berries and musk. A little bit of both, you know. A little unisex.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a totally off the wall question, but there is a point.
Perhaps like sawdust.
Okay. Do you know that there is a Homme cologne? If you want to take a whiff of that, it got sent to me in the mail, like they knew I was going to talk to you. In the mail, in the actual mail.
Well, I mean, the
what's
truth
his
is-
name?
The truth is, I'm probably pronouncing my own goddamn name wrong. It's Homme in French, which means man, right? So, but in Norway, it's Homme, and then you get all the way here, and that's Homme, and then my dad told me that's what it was, so I'm going with that. So this probably smells a lot like my dad.
Yeah? Maybe,
It's a guess.
Maybe it's a senior. But I did notice it's the Twilight
Did
guy.
you see the other side?
Oh, so it's like a whole Twilight Zone.
But why did they
Sauvage.
even give you a call about this? I feel like you should be their number one spokesman.
Frankly, that word homme, it's because it means man in French. It's like Smith looks like an idiosyncratic name next to homme, you know. Because if I said my name is Joshua Stuff, that would be about the same thing. Maybe that's why we try to say it all funky in my house.
Maybe that's a good villain name for you then. Your other
Mr. Man.
form, Josh Stuff.
Mr. Man.
Mr. Man.
The
He
stink.
just runs around with a mister,
The
just
stink of
spraying
man.
everybody.
Yeah. Psst, who was that? Mr. Man. What did that smell like? Sawdust.
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 Frankly.
A bit of tequila, like stale tequila.
Sea dust. Sawdust.
Well, I know you guys have a show to play, but I did want to ask about my absolute favorite song on this album, Fortress, which kind of makes me weepy and also makes me feel empowered. And this is a song that was written for your daughter?
Well, I mean, it's written for everybody. I mean, it's for somebody, but that's for me, you know. And but I think the music is like a multi-tool of pleasure. It's supposed to work for everybody, and if you make yourself a little vulnerable and honest, then it'll work for more people, and it will make sense for them even more. That's what I believe. I don't know if that's right, but that's what I'm doing. And so it's for somebody, but then it's also for you, whatever you need to do, you know?
Yeah, I think
Just
that
a bit.
the idea is that the interpretation of it is for all of y'all. And that's, if we can get that across, I think it makes, everyone's kind of enjoying it.
Everyone's enjoying it a lot. This album is amazing.
Yes. I don't know. We like it, and
We
we
like
hope
it.
other people do too, but you can't do much about that. And so we just try to play as good as we can and like drink as much as we're allowed to. And that's basically it.
How much are you allowed to drink?
As much as I want.
Okay. I like that much.
Until my liver turns into a dyer.
Well, let's get working on that.
Let's do it.
All right. Troy and Joshua, Queens of the Stone Age.
Thank you.